like that. Overnight, we've crossed from Bari to Bar.
Mind that? Look that way.
What do you guys reckon? Can you remember what country this is? Atlantic? No?
Montenegro.
That's it, Montenegro. So we've arrived in downtown Bar, heading towards Kotor. So this is pretty incredible. Just arrived in Kotor. We're staying in a studio apartment up on the hill, and the studio apartment's pretty small and nothing too much to be said, but the view is just incredible. So this is going to be my workspace with my laptop there. Every morning I'll be able to wake up and look out over the fjord. So we're on our way to the beach. This is about a 5-minute walk from our apartment.
That it is very clear. Yeah.
It is very clear, isn't it? And it's towards the old town. So, what do you guys think of the Montenegrin water? Refreshing? Cold? It was a little bit cold, wasn't it? It's because it's so deep.
What?
So this is what the locals do for fun in Montenegro. They let off smoke grenades in the middle of an apartment complex.
Basically a grenade that makes smoke, so the Russians who are there fighting can't see.
So we've just been to the beach to relax and have a swim. And a playground, yes, very true.
Can't see me.
And we're heading up some stairs back to our apartment.
Can't see me.
But we've got a little bit of history on Kotor, guys. So, like most other towns around here, it's got a very long and varied history. It's a few thousand years old, at least from when it was first inhabited. And you know, it's called a pretend or a fake fjord. A fjord is a valley that's made by a glacier that then gets submerged in water by the sea. So the reason Kotor isn't a fjord is because the valley was made by a river rather than a glacier. So it's not officially a fjord, it's officially a ria, R-I-A, ria.
Like Rio, but Ria.
Yeah, like Rio, but Ria, exactly. But over time, Kotor has been ruled by various people. It's been ruled by the Romans, the Greeks, the Italians, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Serbians. It's been part of Yugoslavia. Where else? The Ottomans came through. The Saracens came through. So it's been fought over a lot of times. And it's got some big walls around, and those walls were built in the time it was ruled by Venice, or the Venetian period, which was the 15 to 1600s. So, fascinating city.
A few
Yes, Maddie.
we saw a big wall, so it went up, and then it went down the mountain.
That's right. It did. And maybe we can walk part of that tomorrow. But it kind of looks like the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, it does. Huh.
And what else did we learn about Kotor? They speak Montenegrin, which is officially a language that's separate to Serbian. It used to be Serbian, but they added a couple of letters to the alphabet. So they used to have, I don't know how many, but a certain amount of letters in the alphabet. They added 2 more and changed some things, and then they said, now this is Montenegrin. Montenegrin. It's not Serbian. So that's interesting.
Well,
Up here, guys.
After the beach we went to, where, Daddy?
What's that?
After the beach we went to
Yes.
the playground.
Yep.
Ow.
And what else can we say about Montenegro?
That a few thousand years is quite old.
Yes, that's right, it is quite old. And Montenegro only became separate from Serbia in 2006. And I remember that, because I'm old. And you guys are not.
Did you know that islands are not islands if they're not surrounded by water?
That's true. And we made it to the top of the stairs, back home. Let's see how Mummy's doing. Ferry's leaving, slowly revealing more of the old town of Kotor. Heading into the old town, looking for a place to have dinner. You see the start of the walls there, and then going all the way up cliffside. Cold down. How's your sleep on that? There's one of the gates into the old city.
They got lost.
Teraz ten nauczyła dzieciaki.
In a nice little pizzeria type thing, and we are looking at the menu. And so, what are you feeling, Dad?
Feeling like?
Happy?
Oh, what am I feeling? Wow, that's a deep question. Do you want me to answer honestly?
What? What do you feel?
Yep. Well, I'm hungry.
Okay. What do you feel, Mom? Mom, happy or sad?
I'm heavy.
Are you happy or sad? I think
So, here we have a local delicacy. Squid stuffed with shrimp. So we're going to see how we go, but Maddie wants to try some too. So there you go, the shrimp inside the squid. What do you guys think? Devin loves it. Maddie? Devon's back for more. They're all trying to steal from my plate now. Anna's looking in the shop. Kids are happy and full after that dinner. What do we got? A couple of churches in the square here. Still lovely, balmy evening. Just at night.
Yeah, but still, if I find my then I'm gonna get it.
A movie playing. And up there on the hills, you just see the lights. That's a trail. It's called the Ladder of Kotor. It goes up past a church, up through the walls.
What are those lights?
People walking up there. So we're actually just looking for the start of the walk, the Ladder of Kotor, just so we know where to go tomorrow. Meanwhile, these paving stones are very ancient. Lots of people are tripping on them. So we've come part way up the Ladder of Kotor. We couldn't resist. Kids have got so much energy after their delicious meal. Now that down there is the old town of Kotor. Absolutely beautiful, very quaint, nice cool evening. There's a party boat out there. And the town is humming, but not too loudly.
Do you see my big setup?
Going down by phone light. Yeah, there are a lot of churches in here.
It's more like Venus to me.
I've just left the old town through one of the ports, or one of the doors, and there are 4 cats, which this town is also famous for. It's hundreds and hundreds of cats that people feed and look after, and they roam the town. Now we're heading up the old town walls. There we are at the corner fort of the old town. And I managed to set up a ping pong table up on this parapet.
There's a bin and there's a basketball hoop over it so you can throw things in. Yeah, I put basketball in it. You can do this. And you can put the banana in. Oh, no, you swipe it up.
Gate.
Drawbridge. Walking over the drawbridge, looking out on the moat.
But yeah, so it's either that or Southeast Asia. But the thing is, like, I could go home, do a vintage, and then convince mates to go to Southeast Asia.
Back at our apartment again, with the beautiful night view over the bay. Heading back into the old town today. This time we're going to try and spot some of the places that were used in Casino Royale, the James Bond film. And that's the plan of the old town. We're in yet another square. There's lots of these squares around.
But the Ark of the Covenant is the one where all of his faces are. Then
So it turns out, even though James Bond is set in Montenegro, none of it was actually filmed here. It was all filmed in the Czech Republic. So we're not going to see any of the filming locations here, unfortunately. Although it does look very, very similar. Yeah, I know. Now, did you see over there? There's some olive oil produced from the oldest olive tree in Europe, over 2,000 years old. It's crazy, huh? Now, I was just reading the other day, the oldest olive tree is actually about 3,000 years old. But it mustn't be in Europe, it's probably in, I don't know, the Middle East somewhere. Yeah, so we've spotted a super yacht over there, and they have their own personal helicopter strapped down on the stern. So this is a lovely spot to sit in the shade of this tree right by the northernmost part of the wall. So you can see the extent of the walls here, and we're just outside them. That's an old hydroelectric power station there, and there is a walk going up there, and we're contemplating doing part of it, but it's so hot that we may not actually end up doing it. So we didn't do the walk, we've opted to go back into the old town, across this bridge. It seems like a much saner thing to do. There's a solar powered seat here. Don't know what it
You charge.
powers. Maybe you can charge stuff. Maybe it's near field charging. But meanwhile, Cat has
Yes, it's got a
decided
USB.
it's a good place to lie. Oh, it's got a USB port.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What is it?
You
can
can charge your
charge.
phone.
A lot of plasma biscuits. Incredible thunderstorm over the bay. Kids are doing the early morning Duolingo. So we're leaving Kotor on a very different type of day to when we arrived. But hopefully it clears up before we get to Dubrovnik. But I can already see the blue sky coming through a little bit in the direction we headed, so that's good.
Dad. So what are we doing, Dad?
We are